Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's Cosma. Today I'm going to be coloring this little guy. He is a little wizard cat that I just sketched out, and I got the inspiration from Pinterest. I already mapped out the colors we're going to be using for him today. I wanted to go for kind of like a foresty kind of look. He is like an orange kind of tabby. I probably should have put some more stripes on his face, but and I think I might put some stripes on his face actually, but he just has this little book here, and I've already mapped out the colors down here. So these are all the colors I'm going to be using, and I really do like this because it helps me to not be so scared to put down the colors, because once you map them all out and you have all the color names written down, then you don't have to worry too much about, oh my gosh, what color am I gonna pick, because you've already made a little thumbnail. I think I'm going to finish this up with colored pencils to kind of get the details and get some more depth and shadows. But for now, we're going to be basing with that alcohol markers. So let's get started. I think I'm just gonna start off by putting some more stripes in here that I neglected to put in earlier, just to kind of make sure that we are actually a tabby here, and just some quick little things here. I'm gonna use kind of a small, let's use the 0.3 millimeter to put these little stripey guys in here. So it just, you don't have to be afraid to add some more details here and there, because I realized that our dude had some stripes on his tail, but he didn't really have any stripes anywhere else. So I was like, that's kind of weird. So I just added some more stripes here to our guy, and it's as easy as that. And things first, we gotta put some protection under our guy so that we don't mess up the rest of our other pages. So and I really do like this little creamy color. You have to make sure that you're careful with the bleeding, because there is always a good bit of bleed through. So I do remember that I was just gonna go over this whole area with this color and go over this little area again later. And make sure we're still recording. Okay, we are. I am just gonna go over his little tummy area again later with this same color to get our little darker effect, because I felt like putting in a whole nother color there would be like way too much. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna use the same color and go from there. So I want to talk a little bit about my coloring journey and my art journey. So I've always wanted to be an artist. I've always wanted to be a painter. I never considered doing it as a job, because I've always wanted to be in the medical field as a job. Medicine has always fascinated me, and I've accomplished that goal. And so I feel like now I can get a little bit more serious about my art because I'm not studying 24/7. Now I will be having to study again in a couple of years here for boards. But for right now, I don't have to spend my free time studying so that I can graduate. And so now I'm gonna move on to the stripes just because I want to do those next. Oh fuck. Okay, so I messed up already. I was going to do my light source, and I'm wondering if I can kind of make it, I can kind of save it. I've only messed up on that part right there, so I almost messed it all up. So these little dudes right here, I don't know if you can see those. I want to have them be blue and be a light source, so I'm just gonna go ahead and color these guys in. But I think we can save it. I think it's gonna be fine. I wanted to kind of start taking art a little bit more seriously and start actually, I have to make sure I'm using the right colors, and start actually kind of, and I missed his arm right here, being a little bit more, doing a little bit more, honing my skills more. And I think I really love traditional art a little bit more than digital. I started with digital because I was more broke than I am now, and so I didn't really have the funds to do traditional art the way that I wanted. And so rather than, you know, pine over all of the materials that I would want to do traditional art, I just dove into digital, and I got pretty decent at digital art. I'm still pretty decent at digital art. I've always wanted to be, if I always said if money was no object, then I would have pursued being an animator or a concept artist or something, because digital art has always held a special place for me. And so I've always had kind of this desire to learn digitally, which I did. I accomplished that. I learned digitally, and so the bleed through on these is, on this paper in particular, the bleeding and the feathering is significant. So you kind of have to go well within the lines so that to make sure you don't go well outside of the lines. So the next thing I think I want to color is his hat and his cape. So I wanted his cape to have, make sure that I'm doing the right color. Yes, okay. I wanted his cape to be kind of green, because I want him to be kind of like a foresty, maybe a green type witch, wizard, cat. And I love these pastels that I bought. Pastel alcohol markers. I swatched them if you want to go watch that video. I think it's just a short, so I didn't make it a full-length video because I don't know, I just wasn't considering it at the time. And so if you want to watch me swatch those, I have a short of that. But I love pastels. They are very pleasing to my eye. So I have a pastel set of alcohol markers, which is what these are. I don't know if you can see those. The SFIAH. I cannot. I don't know what brand it is, what the brand had in mind for the pronunciation. But these are actually pretty great. They're pastel-y, they were not expensive, and the alcohol markers that I have are lesser known brands because although I have, and I bought these markers actually a long time ago, back before I even graduated school. And so my first set of alcohol markers that I bought is Sanjoki, and I bought them because I watched a review by the Frugal Crafter, and she said that they were great markers for a great price. Because I for sure, sorry, I got a little dizzy there. I for sure was not about to buy Copics. Like, I'm not big money yet. So that for sure was not gonna happen. And so I was like, oh, Hoo was a little too expensive at the time too. And they're still like the budget, well, Hoo were like budget markers only compared to Copics. And so there's so many alcohol markers out there now that it's kind of silly. And I'm gonna go in with this darker green and color in those areas. To me, it's kind of silly to buy. Okay, well, let me just start off by saying, first of all, I have never used the more expensive markers. So I don't know if it's worth it to buy the more expensive markers. I don't know how they handle differently. I don't know. They might just be, I think the only thing that I think would be super important maybe is if you're actually a real artist and you're trying to sell like originals of your art and it uses markers and you want them to be white fast. I think that would be like the major, you need Copics maybe, because I'm unsure. I feel like alcohol markers in general are just not light fast. But if you buy Copics, you have a better shot. Probably. I've never watched any reviews on Copics, really, because I've never had any... Sorry, I have to focus. I've never had any intention on buying them. So if I have no intention on buying them, why the heck would I, you know? So I haven't done that. I have not watched any reviews on that. I have not had any intentions of ever buying anytime soon. So the only thing that I would consider buying Copics for is maybe for like colors that I use a lot. Like I noticed that I use like the lighter colors quite a bit, like the fleshy kind of tones I use quite a bit. So I think that I might buy those in Copic because then I could refill them. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's really the only thing that I would consider for Copics. So I'm just going in for my background now with this WG2. So yeah, Copics are for another time in my life. As once I get a little more bread, y'all may see me with some Copics. There will not be, I will not advertise when I am no longer broke, but there will be signs. Is all I'm saying. Okay. So I really do like making the little thumbnails. Like, I was like, oh, that's too much work. I'm gonna just go straight in. I'm not doing all the thumbnail shit. That's too much. They doing too much. And I get it. Now I get it. Is all that I'm saying. Because it really takes a lot of the pressure, a lot of the stress away. Now, mind you, I made this little sketch in my sketchbook, and because it's not digital, I can't like copy and paste it and like try a bunch of different color palettes. I would have to literally draw the whole thing again because I don't have a scanner right now. I'm hoping to get one for Christmas, fingers crossed, but I'll get one for Christmas. A printer that also scans and does all that stuff. Because I have big ideas for that printer once I get it. If I don't get it for Christmas, I'm gonna get it myself, because that's as long as I care to wait for it, you know. I tend to gravitate towards single color backgrounds, simply because I'm just not great at backgrounds yet. So if I'm gonna do a background, it's gonna be one color, maybe a little vignette action, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But for right now, we keeping it simple. Keeping it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? Because I want to make stuff that I don't hate sometimes. That's not ugly sometimes, you know? And to do that, you got to stay in your comfort zone. The times to get out of your comfort zone is not when you're planning on making something that you love and want to potentially, you know, frame or something. So we've done it. We have our little dude. He's based with our alcohol markers. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. We've done it. It looks beautiful. It looks like our thumbnail. It's great. Now, I could stop at this point and it would be a finished product. But I'm not going to stop at this point because I'm crazy. And so what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to hit these little folds real quick with this green, just so that we can get our guy looking a little more, you know. Let's get us looking a little bit more, not so flat. Okay, I love flats. I love just coloring things with just flats. Like, you know me, I'm that girl. I advocate for, if you don't want to go through the trouble of doing all the shadows and the little details, then that is your prerogative. I support you to do what you want to do. You feel me? So already, even with just those little just doing a little bit of shadow work here, no pun intended, we got a little bit more depth and dimension. Now, of course, I was gonna do that for like these little areas because they're supposed to be, you know, like that. So although this here, we messed up here, you can barely even tell. Like, it looks fine. So I'm going to go figure out what I want to do with the colored pencils, and then I will be back. It's pretty subtle, the detailing, because I'm still pretty new to this, and I didn't want to do too much to start with, but you can already kind of see we're going to start like with our lighting. We're going to start with our lighting this time, and we're going to just do like a little glow around here with the light blue, and make our little fireflies or whatever glow a little bit more. And then from there, we're just gonna add just some shadow work to a bunch of this stuff, just to kind of make it a little bit more, have some little bit more depth. And then down here, I just have all of my colors and my numbers. So these are the colors that we're gonna be using. I can zoom out just a little bit. These are the colors that we're going to be using. A lot of these are from my Kalour pastels, and I think I'm using one from my Artistro, just like regular set. And so these I think are really going to add like a lot of depth and dimension to our drawing. So I am going to put the rest of this video to music, and so let's get started. this is as far as I want to go with this. And I'm going to take my Artistro extra fine tip acrylic pencil and add on my white highlights that are absolutely essential for this. I'll add that there. And then I want to, it's so interesting because I did not really plan out my highlights, and I should have, right? Because now I'm having choice paralysis for this. Because I don't think that this needs a bunch of highlights, honestly. I may just do like something like this here. On the hat, since it's like the part where it's like the most, you know, maybe just the edge here. But for the most part, I don't think this needs a whole lot of highlights. I always struggle with trying to figure out where to place highlights anyway, so I usually end up just doing less rather than more, because I would hate to do more and then I mess it up. Okay, so I'm thinking that this is it. This is all that I want to do. Maybe just a little something there, a little something here on the tail. Maybe something on the tops of the feet right there. And I think we're done with this. Lessons that were learned today. I think that for my glow here, I should have done this with the blue colored pencil before I did my background, because my background really kind of like sealed that in, and so you can't really see the glow too much. You can still see it kind of in person. I don't know how well it translates on screen. Now, one thing that I did change that I didn't do in my thumbnail was I added this moose wood color to like the deeper shadow areas so that I could get a little bit more depth, because it was looking pretty flat. But other than that, I think this turned out pretty good.